Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how I make 20K plus each month selling my books. Now, it's all on autopilot, and these are my books. Now, let me show you some of these books, and then we'll talk about, I'm going to give you 6 steps on how you can do this as well. So I've written 5 books, okay? So my first book was this book. It's called How to Get Leads, okay? Now, I've sold close to 10,000 copies of this. This was my oldest book. Now, it has a lot of imperfections, but the actual content is really well, okay? My second book was Domain Millionaire. Now, again, if you were to go on Google and search up best book for domaining, meaning, how to buy and sell domains, this is number 1. Now, after that, I wrote this book called Chart Patterns. I've sold 60,000 copies of this book. Now, again, if you go on Google and search up Chart Patterns book, you know how many traders are there in the world? Most people have a copy of this book, okay? Now, again, if you were to Google the best chart patterns book, it's number 1. I've been featured on Benzinga, Forbes, IB Times, Entrepreneur, all through for this book as well. Now, and then interactive day trading. Now, this book was featured on Robinhood, the trading app. It was also featured on Benzinga. And if you were to Google the best day trading book, try it. You'll see this book on there now, okay? So, and my latest book is called Cognitive Factors, and this is coming out next month. And this video is not an advertisement. I just want to show you guys that how I am making, 20K plus each month, okay? And I don't have to do a lot of work. Once I write it, it makes me money. Now, but here's the thing, okay? If you're planning to write a book, like 20 pages using ChatGPT, this is not gonna work for you, okay? I'm gonna show you 6 steps that I do every single time that I've learned to make sure that my book is number 1 and I keep making money from it for many years to come. Okay, now step number 1. Step number 1 is picking your niche or your topic. Now, so what does that mean? So before you start writing your book, you have to pick what is your niche, what is your topic. Okay, now make sure whenever you pick out what you're writing a book about, make sure you're writing about a topic that has a lot of audience, okay? An audience that can actually, that actually wants it. For example, I have a friend and he wrote a book on how to grow tomatoes and potatoes, okay? Now, I don't know, man, okay? He has 2 reviews on Amazon. He sold less than 10 copies. And you know how long did it take him to make that book? It took him an hour. Now, the amount of effort that you put in, if you put in like low effort, you're gonna see like, your book is gonna be horrible, okay? That's just the way it is in book publishing industry. Now, so number 1 step, like I said, is picking a niche. Make sure the niche has a lot of audience, okay? Number 2 is the fact that, whatever you're writing about, make sure that you're writing the best possible book in that topic. So a lot of people don't do this. They're writing one of the books in that topic. So whenever I wrote these books, right, I mentally thought, hey, this book is going to be number 1. It might sound like I'm sounding with a person with like ego and narcissist, but no. Okay, because when I create this book, whenever I had envisioned this book, I thought about it, right? I was like, I'm going to turn this book into the number 1 book on day trading, chart patterns, domaining. So all of my books, when they start out in my mind, they start out as a masterpiece, okay? And I want it to be around for like as long as possible, usually evergreen. So are these books ever going to go out of style? No, never, okay? So make sure whenever you write about something, make sure, it's gonna be mattering for like next 50 years, 100 years, because these things don't get outdated, okay? This is gonna be around forever. So these are evergreen books. So make sure whenever you write, you're writing evergreen books. Step number 2 is actually write the book. Now, most of you guys will start writing a book and you'll use tools like ChatGPT or something nonsense. Please don't do that, okay? Because ChatGPT, it's just rehashed content, okay? Make sure it's not gonna work out well for you. Here's why, okay? Let me explain. So, all of these books have my, understanding of the topic and my logic, my strategies, right? ChatGPT is not going to give you that. It's just a rehashed content, okay? And most of the time it's inaccurate. So make sure you don't use tools like that, okay? The writing part should take you at least 6 months to a year. Like 6 months to a year, yeah, that's why, writing a really good book takes time, okay? If you wrote your book in a week, trust me, okay, it's not gonna turn out well for you because you have not put up, enough effort. You feel like you might have, but once you start writing the book, you'll write the first draft, okay? You'll revise it. You'll take a break. You'll revise it again. So revise it at least 10, 15 times, let other people read it, okay? And then only you come to like the final draft, okay? Once you have the final draft, you're going to go ahead and hire somebody on Upwork or freelance or someone to proofread and make sure that everything looks good. Because see, I'm an expert on these topics, but when I write, my writing is not perfect, okay? So I write it, it's not ghostwriting, I write everything out, and then I hire an editor to fix things up because you want that book to be well written, okay? It's your own idea. Someone's just spell checking, someone's just making sure it flows well, the grammar is correct. So make sure to get someone to do that. This should take you the longest. Now, once you have written your book, everything is well. Step number 3 is hire an interior book designer. So this is the person who is going to design the inside of your book, how it's going to look, okay? All the designs, all the images, the chapters, all of that. That person will design it out. Now, don't attempt to do this yourself, just hire someone. And because the fact that they know what they're doing, these are experts, okay? Instead of you wasting time trying to learn a skill that you won't even be using for too long because you're like, oh, I'll use it for my books. How many books are you planning to write? Like, I don't know, 1,000? No. So it's not worth learning a skill if you can pay money for it and then get the best result back, like, in a day or two, because someone else has already mastered creating, designing the interior version of the book. They have already mastered it, so you don't need to master. Just pay the money, okay? Trust me, it's better than spending money at a bar and then just losing it. So a lot of you guys are like, oh, that's expensive. Let me tell you, the concept of expensive is subjective because you go to a bar and you are like, I'm gonna pay $40. You don't even blink once whenever you are paying for that $40 drink, but you're blinking when you're like investing money on your book? That's nonsense, okay? So make sure to hire someone. Step number 4 is hire. Just like people say, don't judge a book by its cover. People do judge. People do judge the way you look. People do judge the way you talk. People do judge the way the cover is, okay? The cover has to be interesting, okay? Now, it's a harsh world out there, okay? It might sound nice to be like, oh, people are not gonna judge a book by its cover. That's nonsense, okay? People will judge a book, a person by the first impression. So make sure to get a book designer. Now, how do you do that? So here's what I do. I go to a site called 99 Designs, I think, okay? And here you can run competitions. And these competitions will run you $300 to $1,000, and then you get to pick the best book design, okay? And then you get to work with them and revise. That's one way. Other way is to hire someone on Upwork or freelancer.com. I don't recommend Fiverr because these are like $10, $15, $50. Don't expect amazing work. Imagine this, okay? If you're getting paid $50 to make a book cover, would you put some effort on it? You wouldn't. Just get it done, okay? And don't even think about using Canva for your book cover. Please don't. I'm telling you this from experience. Please don't. Okay, now, number 5 is publishing your book. Now, for most of you guys, initially, like me, you will self-publish. Now, what does that mean? So that means this book, my latest book that's coming out, this one I had a real agent, and I got it through a real big publisher. Now, rest of the books, they're making me money. I didn't need anyone, because if you wait till you find an agent, or let's say you wait till you find a big publisher, you might never ever write the book. This is where people get stuck, okay, publishing your book. So your first couple of books, I'd recommend actually just self-publishing. Okay, now, you can self-publish through Amazon, KDP, you can self-publish through Ingram. There's so many services. Now, what I want you to keep in mind is whenever you choose these companies, make sure their distribution is good, okay? Now, these services should not cost you more than, most are free. If it does cost you, it'll cost you, I don't know, 50 to 100 bucks, one-time fee. Main thing that you need to worry about is the distribution factor, because make sure that they can distribute your book to Walmart, Barnes and Noble, or like, Amazon of India, okay? So make sure to pick a self-publishing, channel which is going to get you the most exposure, because when you sell this book, you don't want to be just selling in the US, you want to be selling it in India, okay? Russia, you want to be selling it in all of Europe. So make sure to choose a good self-publishing agent. I like Ingram, they've been great. I also like Amazon as well. So, and last but not least, number 6, promoting your book. So whenever you get your book out, you're expecting to get sales. That's not going to happen. So you have to promote it. So here's how you promote it. Whenever you go out promoting your book on Facebook groups or Reddit, they will ban you. Now, it's just a cruel world, okay? They're like, oh, no promotion of your books and blah, blah, blah. See what I mean? So it's a cruel world out there, okay? People won't even let you promote a book that took you 2 years to make. So here's what you do. So once you get your book out, okay, set a book launch date. Let's say everything is ready, it's published, everything is good, and order some copies, right? And then what I want you to do is have your relatives, your friends, like, 10, 15 of them, have them buy the book, have them take a look at it, tell them, hey, can you buy the book? And then have them leave a review. Because no stranger is going to buy your book unless there are some reviews. They don't want to be the first one. They don't want to be the first one to find out that your book sucks. Now, yes, your friends and relatives might over-exaggerate. And here's the thing, okay? Remember step number 2 when I told you to take 6 months to a year to write your book? The reason for that is because you cannot, your friends and family might give you 5-star, but a stranger will give you ratings based on if your book is good or bad, right? So that's why I said take your time to write your book, okay? And if your book is bad, really bad, if you didn't take your time, you're not gonna be making, you might make some money here and there, but nothing like crazy. Does that make sense? So for that reason, step number 2, taking your time to write your book, that's one of the most important factor of this entire thing. So let's get back to step number 6 is promotion. So first, get your friends and family to give you some ratings. They will buy it, have them leave some review, genuine reviews, right? Now, after that, okay, I want you to start promoting it, maybe run ads on TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook initially, right? So you'll stop running ads once you have 50 good reviews. And after that, your book should start selling automatically, okay? You should also reach out to news publications, companies, see if they want to review your book. Now, again, this is why your book has to be written really well, because these okay, so my books have been featured on Benzinga, Forbes. Now, I did not reach out to them, okay? I did not say, hey, can you review my book, okay? Some publications, I said, hey, can you review my book? I'll send you a copy. Now, in that case, I did not tell them to give me a 5-star review. They will not do that, okay? They will review the book, okay? And if it's bad, they might just skip your book. If it's decent, they will talk about bad pros and cons, okay? So make sure your book is actually good. So number 6 was promoting your book, okay? Now, the big thing about making that 20K plus per month is writing multiple books, okay? I don't make 20K from one book, okay? So this book is not making any money right now because it's brand new. It's being launched. It's gonna be launched in a month, okay? So from like 1, 2, 4 books, I'm making 20K very, very easily. Most of the time I make money from these 2 books. These sell the most. I sell a couple thousand copies every single month and I'm making that money, right? Now, when I launch this book should add about $5,000 to $6,000 of recurring income after 1 year. Now, someone might make it seem easy, but things take time. So that's pretty much it. If you enjoy this content, make sure to go ahead and subscribe for more content just like this.